So what were the measures taken by the captain to save the boat and the crew? As we read yesterday, what did the captain do? It made many, you can say, safety measures, right? He connected everything securely with the railing, donned these oil skins and the lifelines, and yes, so because around them what was happening, the weather was becoming very bad, the winds were rising very high, and yes, it was as if the ship might get out of control. So what happened was this, all of a sudden there was this darkness around, yes, and there was silence, and what did author feel? That these huge clouds have come and a storm is going to happen. But what was that huge cloud? It was not the, yes, it was not the rain cloud, or it was not going to, start raining or the storm there, but it was one of the largest waves that he had ever seen. And then later what happened? That huge wave came and it crashed on the ship. And now let's see what happens and what measures taken, and how did the captain manage to take his ship out of this difficult situation. So all of you, yes, you can look at the screen. The roar increased to a thunder as the stern moved up the face of the wave, and for a moment I thought we might ride over it. But then a tremendous explosion shook the deck as the wave crashed on the deck. There's this huge explosion because it was a gigantic wave. A torrent of green and white water broke over the ship. My head smashed into the wheel, and I was aware of flying overboard and sinking below the waves. See, even though he has made so much of preparations, he's made these preparations here, has taken advanced measures to save himself and the people from being thrown overboard out of the ship. But the wave was so strong. What happened was that, yes, it came and crashed on the ship. His head smashed into the wheel, and he was thrown overboard. Overboard means out of the ship, sinking below the waves. I accepted my approaching death, and as I was losing consciousness, I felt quite peaceful. So within seconds, things can be over. So it's so dangerous over there out in the sea, in the stormy weather, the huge waves. So the captain there is washed aboard, he's been thrown aboard, and as he's there sinking under the water, he thinks the end is near. And he's quite peaceful, he's accepting it. Okay, maybe this is how it is going to end. Unexpectedly, my head popped out of the water. A few meters away, Wave Walker was near capsizing, overturning, right? Her masts almost horizontal. The masts there, right? The pole, the sail, everything, yeah, coming and almost being horizontal along the surface of the water. Then a wave hurled her upright. So just then another wave came, hurled her upright. Who upright? Wave Walker upright. My lifeline jerked taut. Lifeline, the attachment which he had with the railing, with the boat, it jerked taut. Taut means straight, right? So of course it was not loose, like you have the thread here. So when you stretch it, how straight it is. Yes, all of a sudden, because the waves, they turned the ship back again vertically. And what happened? Yes, the lifeline also stretched. And as a result, yes, he was able to come back on the ship. I grabbed the guard rails and sailed through the air into the Wave Walker's main boom. So there he just got hold of the side of the rails, and yes, as the ship became straight, as it became upright, he also came back safely onto the deck of the ship. Subsequent waves tossed me around the deck like a rag doll. A rag doll, dog made of cloth. And yeah, you just like when you were kids, maybe how you threw and hit your doll around on the surface, right? And yes, so just like that lifeless doll, he was tossed over the place. And what happened as a result? My left ribs cracked. My mouth filled with blood and broken teeth. Somehow I found the wheel, lined up the stern for the next wave, and hung on. So somehow, yes, in spite of all these injuries, in spite of so much of fear, like you were there almost drowning, you're back on the ship, and the waves again here. Look at the condition and how he's being tossed here and there, right? In spite of that, he managed to reach the wheel. He wanted to make sure that the ship did not capsize or did not drown or sink. And yes, he lined up the stern for the next wave and hung on. Stern is which part of the ship? Yes, which part of the ship is the stern? The back part. What is the front part called? The bow of the ship. Okay, is this clear over here till now? Right? So what has happened? The captain, he was thrown overboard because of this huge wave and the ship almost, capsizing, becoming horizontal. The masts also, another wave came. What happened? As a result of it, the boat once again became straight. The captain of the ship also tossed aboard and he managed to, in spite of so many injuries, reach the wheel of the ship. Water, water everywhere. I could feel that the ship had water below because of the huge impact of the wave. It had crashed the hull of the ship. So water had entered it. But I dared not abandon the wheel to investigate. So right now he just wanted to keep the ship aligned, right? The wave walker aligned straight, and so you would not lose control again. Suddenly, the front hatch was thrown open and Mary appeared. "We're sinking," she screamed. "The decks are smashed. We're full of water." And so as he's there trying to control the ship, his wife came out and yes, from below the deck, right, she's opened up the hatch, the little small door coming outside and telling him the decks are smashed and we are full of water. So water is entering the ship. So it's a very dangerous situation. "Take the wheel," I shouted as I scrambled for the hatch. Larry and her were pumping like madmen. Who are Larry and her? Yes, they were the crewmen, right? So one is an American, another is a Swiss. And so they were pumping the water out. They wanted to save the ship. Broken timbers hung at crazy angles. Timber, the hull of the ship, the deck here, all smashed, broken. So parts of wood. The whole starboard side bulged inward. Starboard side where the wave had crashed, right? Yeah. So generally it is the right side of the ship. And here where the wave it crashed and it was bulging inwards, the impact of the wave. Clothes, crockery, charts, tins, toys sloshed about in deep water. So everything was there, just like what floating on the water. Everything it was covered and water is there inside, right? So a lot of damage happened. I half swam, half crawled into the children's cabin. "Are you all right?" I asked. "Yes," they answered from an upper bunk. So the children had been made to stay inside so they would be safe from the impact of the wave. So everyone was there inside except for the captain. So he was there trying to take control of the ship. So yes, so he's asking his children, "Are you all right?" "Yes," they answered from an upper bunk. "But my head hurts a bit," said Sue, pointing to a big bump about her head. "But my head hurts a bit," said Sue, pointing to a big bump above her eyes. I had no time to worry about bumped heads. So yes, so there was a lot of damage and the little girl, she's complaining, "I've hurt my head." But right now, the captain of the ship did not have any time to worry about what? Bumps. What is he more concerned about? Yes, what is the captain of the ship more concerned about? Saving the ship. He does not want so much of damage happening. He wants that, yes, the ship should not capsize, right? So his concern right now, he's not even paying much attention to his children also, to his daughter who has hurt herself. Okay? Yes. After finding a hammer, screws and canvas, I struggled back on deck. So now he has to make some arrangements. What did the huge wave do? It damaged the ship, the side of the ship damaged. There's water continuously entering. So he's taken hammer, screws, and canvas. So he's going to make some kind of temporary arrangement to stop the water from entering. With the starboard side bashed open. As I told you, what is the starboard side? It's the right side of the ship. Yes. And yes, the starboard side is also the side where the waves are coming and hitting. Bashed open. We were taking water with each wave that broke over us. So as the wave hit them, as the wave came and hit the ship, water was entering. So it's a very scary situation. If I could not make some repairs, we would surely sink. Somehow, I managed to stretch canvas and secure waterproof hatch covers across the gaping hole. So he was able to find canvas and waterproof these covers. So he was able to at least do some kind of, like what steps were taken by him, yes, to stop the water from entering, but still water was entering the ship. Some water continued to stream below, but most of it was now being deflected over the side. More problems arose when a hand pump started to block up with the debris floating around the cabins and the electric pump short circuit. More problems. Why? Because water is entering, what is coming along with the water? There is debris, weeds, and all, things entering. As a result, what happened? The pumps getting blocked, right? Not functioning properly. And yes, it's a short circuited. The water level rose threateningly. So they had to remove the water which was entering the ship. Back on deck, I found that our two spare hand pumps had been wrenched overboard. Right? So they had been washed overboard when the huge wave came and hit them. Along with the forestay sail, the jib, the dinghies, and the main anchor. So apart from that, yes, the extra pumps that they had, so many other things had also been thrown overboard. Now, what are they going to do? They need to pump out the water. Otherwise, it is going to be very, very dangerous. Then I remembered we had another electric pump under the chart room floor. I connected it to an outpipe and was thankful to find that it worked. So yes, he remembered, yeah, where the chart room floor. So where like he does the navigation, right, in that room. So he found this other pump, he took it, and to their surprise and for the good luck also, it was working. The night dragged on with an endless, bitterly cold routine of pumping, steering, and working the radio. We were getting no replies to our Mayday calls, which was not surprising in this remote corner of the world. Yes, so they are continuously pumping out the water and they're trying to keep the ship on track so it does not, drift away too far. They're trying to connect Mayday calls. Yes, what are Mayday calls? These calls of distress, right? So just telling like that, yes, there is a problem and they need help. But considering that they were in such a remote part of the world in this ocean, right? So it was not surprising that they were not able to communicate or the message was not being able to send. Sue's head had swollen alarmingly, his daughter, Suzanne, and there was a swelling because she had bumped her head. She had two enormous black eyes, and now she showed us a deep cut on her arm. When I asked why she hadn't made more of her injuries before this, she replied, I didn't want to worry you when you were trying to save us. So now I was asking why you should have told me you were in so much of pain and so much of problem. She had a deep cut on her arm also and her head was swelling and her eyes were black now because, yeah, that swelling because of that, it's difficult for her to open her eyes even. And he's quite surprised that why this little girl did not tell about her problem. And she did not want to worry her father about the little problem that she had when he had to take care of more important things, right? Yes. Okay, so let me have a look at you all and just see how much you have understood. Okay, yeah, please tell me now, what was the damage caused by the huge wave that hit Wave Walker? Who's going to tell me? What was the damage caused by the wave? Yes, a lot of damage. And yeah, what was the most dangerous thing that happened was that the side of the ship had been smashed open and water was continuously entering. So the captain of the ship here, he did make emergency measures. He stretched the canvas so that water would not continue entering. But yes, the pumps also stopped working. He found an extra pump and he found out that so many other things had been washed overboard, right? So they are in a very difficult situation and no one is responding to their mayday calls. So at least they could connect and tell, yeah, that this is the problem and could ask for help. By morning on January 3rd, the pumps had the water level sufficiently under control for us to take 2 hours rest in rotation. But we still had a tremendous leak somewhere below the waterline. And on checking, I found that nearly all the boat's main rib frames were smashed down to the keel. In fact, there was nothing holding up a whole section of the starboard hull except a few cupboard partitions, right? So yes, so here, like what has happened, they've been continuously pumping water out and they were taking shifts, right? So 2 hours to rest and there was going on in rotation, but there was still a water line somewhere. There was a leak somewhere and water was entering from that. And what did the captain find? What did he find out? That the main rib frames were smashed down to the keel. The side of the ship had been smashed right till the base. There was nothing holding up a whole section of the starboard hull except a few cupboard partitions. So how difficult it is, right? They have to keep the water out, but water is there constantly entering. And so most of the part of the ship has also been damaged. And it is just, like these cardboard partitions are just keeping the ship intact. And if another huge wave comes, it's going to cause a lot of damage, right? Yes. We had survived for 15 hours since the wave hit, but Wave Walker would not hold together long enough for us to reach Australia. That was the next destination. 15 hours they had survived, but they were doubting the condition of the boat here. I checked our charts and calculated that there were 2 small islands a few hundred kilometers to the east. One of them, Isle Amsterdam, was a French scientific base. Our only hope was to reach these pinpricks in the vast ocean. But unless the wind and the seas abated so we could hoist sail, our chances would be slim indeed. The great wave had put our auxiliary engine out of action. So for 15 hours, they had been pumping out water and they were quite worried that how long will the ship hold together in this difficult situation. The next destination was Australia, but they thought that no, we cannot reach there. And according to the calculations here, what the author, he checked the charts and he found that there were these 2 islands here, a group of islands were there, these small islands. What were they? They were Isle Amsterdam and they were a French scientific base. That too, it was not, like inhabited, but it was for scientific purposes, right? And these islands were very small as compared to the vast ocean. And there were many chances that because of the wind and because of the condition of the boat in which they were, that they might sail past, right? They might not stop at this, or they might not be able to locate the islands, right? And as it is, one of their engine was also out of action. So, right, the auxiliary engine was there out of action. So one engine there which they're supporting and running the ship. And it is very difficult for them in this weather to put up the sail also, right?